stamping friends, it's Sherry Parker coming to you live on Wednesday, May 27th. A very rainy day here in Ohio. I think the sun is finally coming out. It's been a really rainy week actually. So thank you for joining me tonight. I've got some real fun projects to show you, and just to give you a little teaser, we're gonna make a cute little vase. So don't really have any announcements, so let's get right to it. I'm gonna turn my camera around and we'll get started. All right, tonight we're gonna use one of the suites in the new catalog called Bloom Boutique. We'll use parts and pieces of it. We'll be using the bundle and the scallop boxes and some different things, but this suite is on pages 16 through 19. So if you have a catalog, then obviously you can follow along there. So to see the products up closer, here is the bundle of the stamp set and the dies. And then we'll also be using the dies from the Sweet Words and Labels, not the words from this one, but the die cuts. And then Banner Sayings, stamp set and punch. And then the Floral Spray 3D embossing folder. This is just beautiful. So those are the products that we're using tonight. Of course, you can substitute what you have for any of these projects. And just to give you a sneak peek of what we're making, we are going to be making some fun things for a party. So my daughter, Lindsay's getting married in less than 6 months. I'm having a bridal shower for her soon. So I was trying to think of, what do I want to do? So I thought, I'm going to make a couple little things, a couple little touches. And I drink one of these turmeric super shots almost every day just to give me energy, and it has a lot of nutritional value. And when I'm done with them, I'm left with these bottles, and I just couldn't bear to throw them away. They're so cute, and they're a nice solid bottle. So I started saving them. I'd rinse them out, wash them in the dishwasher. And I thought, wouldn't that be just such a cute place card for her bridal shower? So I made up a couple different versions here. Now I have fake flowers in these, but I had a real one in the first one I showed you, but you get the idea. So I'm gonna use these as placeholders at every place setting, and it's super easy to make, very minimal supplies. Hi, Felicia. And personally, I just love that. If you can make something that's really unique and not hard to do, why not? So that is gonna be the place card. And then we're also gonna make a treat box so that everyone gets a treat. And then what party would be complete without sending a thank you note afterwards? I'm really a stickler for that. And my daughter will have plenty of thank you notes so she can be sure to thank everyone. So we'll get started. We're gonna start first with our little vase, which I'm using for a placeholder, but it could be also just a decoration or party favor. So I've got right here a strip of Designer Series paper, and this is the new Hydrangea Hue. And this piece measures 1 3/4 by 6 inches. So if you think of a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, you can get a lot of strips out of one sheet. So I've got a bottle here. I went ahead and I tied my ribbon so you wouldn't have to watch me thumb through that, but this is the coordinating Hydrangea Hue ribbon. And all I'm gonna do is just wrap this around. It really doesn't get much easier than that. So I'm gonna put a little bit of adhesive on one of the ends, wrap it around my bottle here, and voila. Is that too easy? And then I did go ahead and cut out with the Sweet Words and Label dies. This is an awesome die cut set. I know I've talked about it a few times, but the shapes are just awesome. So I picked out a couple of the shapes for tonight. I thought this would be really cute to put someone's name on. I just hand wrote this out, but you could get fancy, or you could use calligraphy, or if you wanted it just to be a nice little decoration, no name, you could just cover up your little label and use that as a base. So for this one, I'm gonna stagger my flower over a little bit so that I could have room for a name if I wanted to. So for this one, I'm going to use the Boutique Blossom, the stamp set and die cut. And I've got my Hydrangea Hue ink pad, which I've shown these before. These are wonderful magnetic ink pads, love those. and they're stackable, which makes them really nice too. This is a 2-step stamp. So I'm going to like twist, twist, tap, tap, stamp the solid part of my flower, and then directly on top, I will use the outline part, and then I will cut that out with the coordinating die. And the really cool thing is with this die cut set, there's a die that goes around that flower. But then if maybe you didn't want a stamp or you didn't have the stamp, you could also cut out a flower. So this one I used a different die that has all the different petals, and I just ran it through once with the hydrangea hue. And so you can kind of pick your passion. So this one here with my tulip has just the solid flower, and then this one is stamped. So we're gonna use the stamped one for this one. And I did go ahead and cut that out, as well as a leaf. So yes, Felicia, I am gonna have to keep drinking my turmeric shots, and I've got about 20 of them saved, so I need a few more. So I keeping Starbucks in business. So, all right, I did cut out my flower, and another new product that we have this year is the shimmer brush, and they coordinate with all the new in colors, and the hydrangea hue is one of them. So you can actually add some real pretty shimmer with color in there to your projects as well. You've probably seen me use the Wink of Stella brush, which is just shimmer, shimmer, but this is really nice too because it gives it a little pop as well. So I shimmered my flower, my leaf. I don't have, this is the soft sea foam, and I don't have a shimmer brush in that color, but I do have one in the new Peaceful Pine. It's a little bit darker, so I'll just put some light little accents there. And it has a nice shimmer. It's probably hard to see that, but if you get it in the right light, you'll be able to see it. So then to construct this, it's really simple. I want my flower to be a little bit 3D, so I'm gonna just bend those up a little bit and then put a Stampin' Dimensional behind it, kind of put it off to the side. And then for my leaf, I'll just put a little dot of glue here, and I'll tuck that behind my flower. So you can see how easy this is coming together. And then I'm going to leave a little room for the name, and using these really cool in color embellishments, I'll put a little teeny butterfly, and that'll go underneath the name. I'd probably, if I was, making these for the shower, I would put the names first and then position the flowers. But since I don't have, it's not the real names, then I'm just pretending. So, all right, I'm gonna put some of my Stampin' Dimensional backing, the edges. I never waste anything, and there you go. Isn't that just so cute? I think it's a really fun way to do a table setting, and is costing virtually nothing, except the shots aren't, of course, free, but you're getting some nutrition too. So, all right, so that is our first project. So you'll want to put a little flower in there with water, a real one, obviously. You could put a fake one in there too, and then you wouldn't have to mess with the water, but totally up to you. All right, so you have a little shower, you have people coming over, and you want to give them something to take home. So I've actually put a cookie in here, and if you can see this little chocolate chip cookie in there. So I've created a little belly band. These are the new scallop boxes that are so cute. They're pre-cut with a scallop shape, and there's a little piece of acetate there, so you have a little peekaboo window. So they come flat like this, and you can decorate them. You could leave them white, whatever you want to do. I'm actually going to stamp one of the smaller flowers from that same Boutique Blossom stamp set, and I'm just gonna randomly stamp some flowers on the areas where you would actually see them, because some of the sides will be folded down. So we'll be able to see the top and then these sides. So I just stamped all in the hydrangea hue, just some random flowers. And then I've got a leaf stamp. It's a little trio that I'm just gonna tuck a couple little seafoam leaves in there. Hi, Donna. So glad people are able to join tonight. So glad it's finally spring slash almost summer, even though it doesn't really feel like it here in Ohio. Okay, so you stamp your pattern on there, and now all you need to do is just fold along the score lines. And these boxes are super simple to assemble. So basically, on the bottom, you're just gonna tuck in your sides, fold over the edge like that, tuck those in, and then fold your top flaps in, put your cookie in or whatever you're gonna candy, and your box is ready. And then to create a belly band, I've cut a piece here. It's 1.5 by 10. If you can see that in the camera, I don't know. And this is coordinating designer series paper to our vase. And we will simply wrap it around like that. And this designer series paper is so cute. It has the big polka dots, little polka dots and stripes. So cute. Okay, and then we will decorate this one as well. So for this one, I've decided to use the banner paint, banner sayings, and this says "You're the sweetest." I'm going to just stamp that like that. Use my banner punch. So I'm going to position it a little bit off center so that my flower can kind of cover up the other side. So before I do attach the flower, I showed you this flower that I cut out of the Hydrangea Hue cardstock, and I'm going to use my blending brush and just add a little bit of color to it. So give it some dimension. Almost like, if you remember the days where we used the stamping sponges and we would kind of go around, that's kind of what it reminds me of. And then also we're gonna wanna use our beautiful glimmer brush. I just think this adds such a nice look. And it's gonna coordinate nicely with the little vase you just made. All right, so decorate that the way you want. It's going to adhere to our greeting. You're the sweetest. You could put really any cute little saying there. And I'll put a Stampin' Dimensional on the back there. Position it here. And then I have a little trio of leaves that coordinate with what I used on the box. And I'm going to do a little blending brush on those too, just to give them a little bit of dimension. We will tuck that underneath, glue that like so. And then last, almost last, I've got another piece of that Hydrangea Hue ribbon. And for this, you could glue it, or I've got some glue dots here too, which there's no drying time, so those are always nice to use. Put that on the side there. And if you wanted, you could even add an extra little hydrangea embellishment. I forgot my little take a pick tool. Makes it easier to grab those. And there you go. So you've got your place setting, you've got a party favor, and then as I mentioned, of course, you have to send a thank you note, right? Because that's what our moms taught us to do. So a very simple thank you note. I love handmade notes, and keeping it simple makes it more likely that you'll actually send them, right? So I'll give my daughter a set of thank you notes, and she better write her thank yous. So I've pre-embossed this white piece here with that floral spray. It's just a beautiful, large embossing folder. And you've probably seen some fun techniques made with this one. You can, actually use the blending brushes over it. You can use craft ink pads. So there's a lot of fun techniques you can do with these 3D embossing folders. For this one, we're gonna keep it pretty simple, very plain. I'm going to simply put some adhesive down in the back and then use some of my ribbon. And to conserve on ribbon, we're gonna do a little cheater bow. And we'll put that on the front of our card, just like that. Here's create a little tail. And this card really I think is simple and elegant. Love this embossing folder. And then you could use whatever gradient you wanted. I did go ahead and I cut out 2 of the shapes from that wonderful Sweet Words and Label die set that I showed you. And all I'm going to do is just stamp a very simple greeting from that banner sayings. I can't thank you enough. Then we will simply layer this onto the card. Easy, easy, easy. Have to pop it up, of course, right? So we've got all of the things. Thank you, party favor, and a lovely little place setting vase. So fun projects. Love this in color. It's one of my favorites, I have to say. Of course, I say that about everything. It's my favorite. Last week, we had a lot of fun. We made 3 cards using the product of the month, the designer series Vellum. And these are the 3 projects that we made last week. And if you remember, if you comment on or share my videos, your name is automatically entered in to win the projects that I make every week. So last week, everyone that commented on and shared, your name is in this glass here, and we're gonna draw the winners. So if you remember, we used this vellum in 3 different ways. We made a gatefold card. We just adhered it to white. And then this one, we actually ran it through the embossing folder too. So really fun techniques. Okay, for this first one, this green one, this one is going to go to Susie Brunk. Thank you, Susie. The second one here, Myrna Bourne. Myrna, I don't think I have your address, so I'm gonna have to reach out to you to get your card to you. And then our last, the Skatefold card, is gonna go to Margaret Duncan. So I'll have to probably reach out to you as well. So congratulations to the winners. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to watch my videos and to share the creativity. So have a wonderful evening and rest of your week, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Good night.